What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thanks so much for being here. Happy new moon in Pisces. This is some pretty magical stuff, especially with the two rulers of Pisces being present in the sign, and of course, one of those rulers being Jupiter, conjunct this new moon with a 2-degree orb. It's very expansive, especially spiritually. It's like soul expansion. This is a time of, why would we ever want to limit ourselves in the unboundness of Pisces? Why would we ever want to restrict ourselves? This is where we can really break chains, especially with Mars meeting with Pluto, and even with Mercury conjunct Saturn. There's so much going on, and I am so into it. I'm so into this astrology. So let's take a look at the chart for this new moon. I'm definitely sending my best intention to everybody out here. I think we are in a chaotic time, which I've said with Pisces. There is a high level of anxiety. It almost feels like we're slipping backwards. It feels like the world can be slipping backwards. But I think we can use this on a personal note in such a positive, magical way. Pisces is the sign of magic. It is the dreams. There's so much, if we have a vision for, we can manifest and we can create. And the whole point of this North Node in Taurus is to create abundance in our lives and to find that value. And Uranus is saying we got to do different ways to find that value. Uranus is in sextile to this new moon. Sun just came off that. The moon's going to meet with it right before. There is a radical value shift that's going on within us so that we can break chains. Uranus does break chains. It does liberate from Capricorn. And of course, when we look over to Capricorn, we're seeing Mars and Pluto conjunct. And Venus is right there too. And I think that especially today with Pluto and Mars conjuncting Capricorn, these are some of our greatest desires, both conscious and unconscious desires with Mars and Pluto that we are about to uncover. We're about to get a revealing of what they are in our personal lives. And I think a lot of it comes to relationships. I know I've been talking about relationships with Mars and Venus conjunct this, the whole month of February, basically. And they're getting ready to come to their conjunction point at 0 Aquarius on Sunday. So there's so much, and Venus is out of shadow, and it's with Mars, and it's with Pluto. There's a transformation of our identification of what relationships look like. And I think it's breaking the chains of what maybe the traditional aspect of a relationship look like. Maybe for some people that's the case, or maybe this is just really like locking down not only relationships, but like our value and our money and our feel-good energy and like what we're building long-term right now. So I think this is a very positive time, especially being with Jupiter in Pisces. There's so much expansive, universal abundance in this world. And we got to remember that. And this is a time to put that intention out there to end. Because Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign, we are at a closure point. It's a closure to a new beginning of what your soul's, I want to say mission is. To be honest, like I've said it before, but this is like your soul's mission came to Earth, possibly for this point, to realize its capacity to create abundance, to create value, and to know your self-worth, and to know that it's never going to be, your self-worth is never going to be fully unlocked if you keep doing things the same way we always have. And this is where our subconscious, we can get locked in subconscious patterns with Pisces. But this is where I think we can also go way, way out there and realize that there's so many more possibilities than even our conscious mind can conceive. So where everybody's tripping right now in the world or coming to these crazy conclusions about what the world's going to do or where it's going to go, how about we just go through a surrender state and work on our own personal lives to bring in that beauty, to bring in that ultimate unconditional love and the abundance that can come with that. I think God has the answers. The answers are above our human pay grade right now. And you can get into a really slippery place right now if you're thinking you know all the answers or have all the answers, or you're just looking everywhere. Mercury in Aquarius with Saturn, like just dedicating your mind to figuring out the giant puzzle piece of our reality. I think we got to get serious about the future and the connection. There is a mental stability here, actually. It's pretty nice, but we can also restrict our mind from infinite possibilities or from connecting to different timelines or even channeling. And we don't want to do that. We want to get serious about where We're getting the ping from the universe right now because that ping is going to unlock something. Today's an unlock day for something unimaginable that is likely what you've always desired. Maybe unconsciously or maybe consciously. This is a turning point for the collective, and it can be a turning point in your life, and I think it's absolutely amazing for that. And we got to remember too that Venus and Mars and Pluto are still making good aspects to the nodes. We are in such a fated time. Mercury is getting ready to square the nodes. Saturn's getting ready to square the nodes. Like, we are about to see what this Aquarian Saturn energy is really trying to, I guess, fully, what we're fully going to commit to. Are we going to commit to, like, which path? There's a couple different paths out there, but there's one that does feel like it's inventing the right life for you. And I think you want to choose the one of unconditional love and the one that the universe is really pulling you towards. Like, God is pulling each and every one of us towards something right now, and we can go backwards and keep repeating cycles and keep repeating loops and go through over and over and over again, or we can break cycles, break the patterns so that we can start something new. And maybe it is a new cycle that we get looped into, but what's to say that that new cycle isn't a more spiritually pure one, isn't a more universally connected one? I think that there's a lot to look at when it comes to really trusting your intuition right now. Pisces is such an intuitive sign. There is such we're so empathetic. Well, there's a high level of, what's the other word I'm looking for? Like, of course, empathy comes up big in Pisces, but empathic. Like, we're going to be able to feel every little thing, and it's sensitive in Pisces, of course. So yeah, it's a sensitive time, but this is where, like, the little sensitivities that don't have anything to do with your life, you have to be able to slip out of those. Pisces is the fish, scales, it's slippery. Like, we got to be spiritually strong so that we can slip out of negativity and slip out of anxious situations or self-undoing situations or restrictive, especially with the Uranus and even the Aquarius. I mean, if we were ever going to break into new situations in our life that were going to be better, this is the moment. So I love this lunation cycle in Pisces. I think for the individuals that are willing to really do something different and realize that their creative potential has no boundaries in this reality, you're gonna be so stoked at where things can go. Limiting yourself right now is just not gonna provide substance. So we all have to look at where we are in cycles or stories in our life that don't leave room for fresh new beginnings, fresh new starts, and get out of that before we just get into toxic situations or get sucked into fear. This is just giving it up to the universe and saying, yeah, you put this in front of my face, God, I'm going to go there. It feels right. I feel everything right now. That feels right. And that's where I'm going to go. Vice versa. If something feels absolutely toxic or negative that's going on in the world or in your life, this is where you can have so much power to get out of that and to initiate something that has something. I can't think of a great word, but something of, like steel, something rigid. It's rigid. It's not as fixed, or it's fixed, but it's not as I can't come to the right word right now. It's a very mutable time, but there's also the mutability of starting things with actual substance and with like an iron-like nature to it with this Mars, Venus, and Pluto in Capricorn. Like, this is the right rules to live your life by, the highest character to live your life by, and to relate to others by, and to build connections for, that are trying to do something great. So, I love you guys. It's quite the astrology. We live in quite the physical realm here, so who knows? Even having Pluto and Mars meet at 27 degrees, which is, a Martian energy with that net 9, Like, it's a very Martian, very warlike. Like, we're going to see more and more war. And it's crazy. I love this astrology so much for an individual basis, but I would not be surprised if there's some big explosion. Of course, yes, there's been explosions going on, but I'm talking like a big one. And one that kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't seen. Like, what, over here? So it's definitely a very interesting time when you look at like the geopolitical aspects of reality and on all that. There's no question about it. It's getting intense. And what is what's really going on behind the scenes of that? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of deception. I feel like there's a lot of illusion, and that's a lot of this Pisces too. It is the great Oz. This is the greatest illusion, and everything kind of has to be taken as propaganda, while simultaneously like trying to investigate and uncover what is real and what the bigger plans actually are. So I think we all have to have a keen and sharp mind right now to really pierce through illusions and get to the realness in our collective. I think that's very important to bring up. But of course, new moon's at 12 degrees, which I didn't mention. And I mean, talk about expanse. This is that's Jupiter. It's conjunct Jupiter. This is the big time for your spiritual expanse. So don't blow it. Don't blow this astrology right now. Trust your soul. Trust your intuition. We're all going to have such a heightened sense of where to go with that, and we would be silly to turn that down. Four of Pentacles. This is a time of knowing worth, spiritual worth, maybe it's physical worth. You have to know how valuable you are as a soul right now so that you can change things up for the sturdy, better, stable things in life that you really want. And it's time to get out of stuff that looks like a dumpster fire, because there's no value in the dumpster fire. So we got to move towards the best things that we really want to hold on to. The Magician, upright. Yeah, this is literally unlocking magic in our lives. There's no doubt about that. If you know you're a magician and you have the capacity right now and that you have the tools built into you to create anything in this life that you want by shifting your mental perspective and dedicating to that, just watch what happens. Watch. Wow, another major arcana, the Emperor reverse. We just can't be scared to own this power. If we're going to, get all into Pisces and dissolve our ego here, and we're not going to find that emperor within us and that power and that strength to really delegate a life that is top tier, top notch, we're missing out on our magic. And the overall is the Death. Wow, just the major arcana is Death reversed. Can't be scared of new beginnings, fresh starts. There's an old world that's dying. It's been dying. Are we going to play in that world forever? Or are we going to realize that we're here to create a new one and that we don't even know what the product of that's going to look like? It could be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but you have to be willing to let go and not get super attached any longer to what is no longer real. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful new moon in Pisces. I'm digging it. I appreciate you all. And I will see you for Thursday's horoscope tomorrow. Much love. Peace.